Basically, that all got cut off. What I was saying, it was like it was inherent, just the need to communicate always was always there from really young. And people we find around, they're like, yep. It's like they've offered up that part to higher sort of connectivity, and I don't know where everybody else's head is at. That isn't their interest to listen to hip hop or people rapping ever faster, ever quicker, to make parts of their synapses tick. Maybe if you really want to get esoteric about it and talk about religion and how there's a guy called Chris Paradox and he does a lot of talks about how we're just experiencing the dream. The more you feed these parts of your areas of your brain, the more they tick on. Maybe you are experiencing life in a totally different light to anybody else, because I can't listen to news and take it seriously just because I can't listen to news and take it seriously because I am exempt. You might be exempt if you want to be, but it might take you switching on certain realms. So, it's all about realms. It's all about enlightenment, really, when it comes down to it, and how enlightened you feel, how you pick up on sort of energies, or how people interact, or what you notice about working in teams, or what you notice about dynamicism. If you want to engage something that is money driven and agenda driven and driven by stuff you can't tangibly see, feel, then do that. I don't want to, thank you. And whenever I listen to certain things, they come in and they come out, and it's like one statistic here, one statistic there. And everybody's got something to learn from COVID, and no doubt I have, with elderly parents and stuff, I don't want anything to happen to them, but there's 101 other different reasons anything can happen to anyone, really, rather than a plot line. And I'm actually quite tired of the convoluted nature of a lot of people, because they actually, really, when you look at it, use social commentary and plot lines just to judge and measure and sort people out. Constant pressure of scrutiny, judgment. And I'd like to say that I'm very unique. I'm fucking unique in the fact that I am on some kind of spectrum. From what go back a couple of years, and I felt like I had vascular dementia. Like, I'd meet someone one day and go like, shit, where did I meet you? Oh God, my God. That was just because I was on a certain whatever where I was at in life and certain things. And people say mental health, you have a fascination with it. I just don't identify with something if you don't want it. Yes, if you feel all the fear and all the anxiety that go with it, yes, I identify it and try to watch it pass over like clouds. Power of Now stuff. There's so many different tools that can actually train your mind to be the person you want to be in the dream, as Chris Paradox puts it. But it is like that. So it is like that. It's how much dynamicism you can rock on in your head, really. It's up to you. It's like, so the exterior world, when it becomes like, it becomes really, the more dynamic you get, the more retrograde it looks like. This is, they keep talking about all that George Orwell guy, or whatever, different stances, or the many, many films that cover that sterility and clinicalism that is part of everybody's pathology. But if you really want to embrace the rainbow, as they say, is that this idea that people aren't just something to put into a box and tick box culture, because it pisses me off. I've gone through stages where it's like, oh God, fucking tick that box, why should I? It's like, ruined, yep. Some people have ruined me, so I am not in sexual preferences at the moment. Don't fucking talk to me. You're not allowed to have a mood in that presumptuous workplace denotation of what you go through. I've had more jobs than I can shake a towel at. And my parents, my brother always would get a job. And I'm like, I've come to the limit of where I can go in certain roles as a person, because they never got me anywhere. It was dead end. And since day one, being QIT, always getting discrimination, let's put it that way. Discrimination. Get enough of it and you go, I think I'm done, really, with people. Like I say, sometimes I look in the mirror. This is quite an alright light, flat room. Put me in another light and I go like, shit, boy. I have that disassociation someday. Totally like gender euphoric. I'm like, what am I looking at? Maybe everybody does that. Not every day does that, but some days I do, and I'm like, fucking, what is that? And it's like, that has a deranging effect. Some days. Is that what it is to be on the spectrum? Let's talk about mental health. I mean, we're quite diverse, complex creatures, aren't we? I'm not somebody that's ever got barred from an establishment till past a certain age of 30 when you get so much stress and then you're a different person. And it's like you're pushing buttons, you're getting pushed under societal stress. And there are many people, psychologists, that talk about triggers, pushing the triggers, provocating people. Like, literally, I've never ever got into trouble with the law of my own esteem. I've just mind my own business, walking home drunk, whatever. And then someone comes and provokes and threatens from behind, and then you're provoked into a drunken disorderly. You've got a criminal record with a whole year's custodial and a court date, and your mate's been arrested 6 times and she's been more violent and more whatever. But no, it's alright, she ain't got anything on there. It's just because what? Status, person, how they take your face, how they read you, or how they can't read you, because if I can't fucking read me, I'm sure as hell they can't fucking read me. You know, it's like some people are more whatever, and I find that the moment they got their grasp on you, then I'm gonna like I don't want any involvement authority in my life anymore, because it's like you're taking the piss now. You've led to the loss of my van inadvertently, and now I've got court dates even though I was insured, and it's like debt dates hanging over your head, more persecution, more crap, and I don't feel like I should have to put up with that. I'm sure that, you know, what people don't like confidence in a woman, they don't like people being strong women, they don't like them talking, they don't like them being opinionated. Oh, it's so draconian, because like I said, this is gender free euphoria. You're not dealing with the average. Like, I'm sure they're coming through by the bucket load now, like millennials, they're all like that. Like, but I think I was pretty much, when I was born, a bit like, yeah, keep myself to myself, because I'm pretty sure I'm unique. But then it was groomed into me, that uniqueness, because like I said, first day at nursery, secluded from everybody else. Oh, does that make you feel good? No. Makes you feel special? I'm definitely different, and I'm going bright red, and it's the first time I've experienced rosacea, and it's the longest memory and my earliest memory. And it's like, it's funny how those ones stick out more than any other one. And there's like the last year 10 taken out, which I mean, another class, and I was, when you talk to parents, they go, my son's going through that kind of thing. Oh wow, yeah, I'm sure they've got those. I'm sure that's something that's been in the systematic in the education system, how to sort of like cultivate a certain level of artistry or a certain level of uniqueness in a person. Because if they're not allowed to just get all in and get all like convoluted with the rest, then they're not, are they? They're going to be sitting reflecting on the desk, going. They might have a certain angst. They're grooming that angst into you. Then they're feeding you Animal Farm, and they're saying, yeah, this is the roles of the things, and there's the pigs at the top, and there's this sort of different roles of you as the people apart from them. Very, very sort of like, when you look at education system, what their literature that they pick out for any sort of given area, class, time and space. You know, I wouldn't want my kids, if I had kids, I wouldn't want them in their hands, personally. I wouldn't mind like groups where teach world education and old stuff and, you know, whatever. Yeah, but yeah, it's just more like the one-on-one stuff and the lines and with me, I was just fucked up just in time for secondary school, and I related to the people like Johnny Depp talked about being weirdos at school. And if you carry that with you, you actually project it into your world, I think, sometimes, and then you get like negative hysteria all over you, like, oh, isn't that on the man? And it carries on, and it carries on, and it carries on in the workplace, and so it gets to the point like you're actually worn out, you're actually exasperated with everyone, like exasperated. And so you think it's your time to celebrate yourself, and you shouldn't have to, like I say, going back to the feeling questioned, pushed around, goaded, Jeremy Carnation, sign on, get a job, like not a minute thinking yourself, marginalised people that tell you it's all about struggles because your grandparents struggled and the war struggled and everybody struggled. And it's like, I just once, I'm going to cut this now, done with this, but coming up with solutions was from a very blessed path, meeting people at festivals that opened up international squats and squatted with internationals, and then were like really cool, the best known members of the community, and then they move in the guardian people going to protect the building, and then they get into complaints from the neighbours because they're not putting out the rubbish properly. So I was like, they should really keep that old bloke on in there with his dog, because he really needed housing. And I was like, they should designate a caretaker, because that building wouldn't even be making money if it wasn't for them lot popping it open. So it was like, that was put an idea into my head. Because those people was asking me to fish him about with the Saab, I was like, would it be good to have a van? And then it's sort of like, this fell into this link that you can look at below. I'll put it below this video. There's like Arrival Prime Powder for People, wet room in the back with a housing thing for homeless where you get fixed abodes, the legal squats, and then we get them mobilised, and then it fell in and you could get them MVQs in agriculture and things, and you get people mobilised, and it's like grassroots community. It's putting up together all the aspects that I've ever experienced work-wise into a social engineer that can help people, and the Prince's Trust MVQs, and in doing that you're bringing together really solid foundation and community that in a way I think has presented some sort of like threat to authorities or something. I think they see me as somebody that they want to kick around and then try and manipulate, which is really unfair because I think I'm a tireless worker, even though it don't look like it on paper. I joined all the charities around town, Choir with No Name, Streetwise, Opera, Cardboard Citizens, Crisis St Mungo's, they're all there, and you're like, well, that social engineer would just be linking all these up for the homeless people and the disenfranchised, the lower classes, the youth, the da-da-da. And this person will be an integral part of just literally practicalities, taking those people to places on a street level, boom. And because it will be funded by the lottery, the Gov did this, they'll be throwing money at injustices, and there would be no injustices anymore. That would be it, end of injustice. They'd be making social content so it'd be 100% transparent, so you can't fuck with the justice because it'll have all eyes on it. All eyes on, boom. That person's getting her kids taken away on a hospital bed. Like I said, that was the prime example. I was like, well, they need solicitors or people to intervene, or that person's battered. That's not a sound mind to adopt. But the Gov would do that. But it's you as a social worker with the brand. Obviously, you've got someone to run to and go, help, like proper help. That you're asking help in the face of the government that are not asking you for help. They're threatening you with help. This is the best thing for you. It's not the same as going to someone saying, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, is it? It's like that extra link in the community, and it would be security based. That you'd have incentives as a sofa surf app. People would be sleeping. I got more passionate about it the more that went on, because the video that I put together early on had nothing on it. It didn't have the app. It did the handheld idea of kit or linking the charities. It didn't have any of that. So I know that it would make money, and making its own content is also a means to make money. Advertising space, novel donation point, loads of ways to make money via it, and it's a franchise, chance to own your own business, because if you want a chicken shop you've got a choice of none, or you've got about a tap 50, sorry, and if you want to be a social worker you've got a choice of one. Thank you very much. I'm out now, but that was it. Hope that was an enlightening chat. All you need to know about the moving forward into the 21st century with L'Art du Dancier, because the rest scare me.